They are talking. CJ Papa, Fox News.
We're negotiating, and we'll see.
The president describing the effort to find a way to end the war with Iran, but the Islamic Republic is said to be chatting with its ally to set up a tolling system for those massive vessels in the Strait of Hormuz.
They're trying to convince Oman, by the way, to join them in this tolling system in an international waterway. There is not a country in the world that should accept that. I don't know of a country in the world that's in favor of it except Iran.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio earlier at a meeting of NATO foreign ministers in Sweden asked for his boss.
We're going to either make sure they don't have a nuclear weapon, or we're going to have to do something very drastic.
President Trump waiting for Iran to produce reason enough not to resume the military campaign as regime leaders refuse U.S. terms. The back and forth even disrupting the president's invitation to his son Don Jr.'s wedding this weekend in the Bahamas.
He'd like me to go. I'm going to try and make it. I'm in the midst. I said, this is not good timing for me.
But the military option is very much on the table. Trump undeterred by domestic pressures, despite gas prices hovering above $4 a gallon ahead of Memorial Day weekend.
That's Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. The second time this week, President Trump travels to the Northeast. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from the White House.
The president travels to a northern New York suburb to campaign alongside Republican Congressman Mike Lawler. Lawler is considered one of the most vulnerable Republicans up for re-election this year. Former Vice President Kamala Harris narrowly carried the traditionally Democratic district in 2024. President Trump is expected to tout tax cuts during the rally and expanding the federal SALT deduction for state and local taxes. Lawler and other Republicans from high-tax states lobbied the president to expand the deduction as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The Congressman district includes Rockland, Putnam counties, parts of northern Westchester, and southern Dutchess County. NASCAR and Richard Childress Racing describing the death of legendary driver Kyle Busch as a staggering blow. Former teammate Casey Mears earlier on Fox and Friends First.
No doubt Kyle was a once-in-a-generation competitor. He had that next-level talent that I think as a competitor, nobody really wanted to admit, but he had something special, something that was just a little bit better than everybody else.
His cause of death not immediately known. Racing star was hospitalized this week with a severe illness. The DOJ targeting people caught up in the alleged scheme to cheat social services programs in Minnesota.
Federal officials say the fraud targeted 7 Medicaid programs, some of which were intended to secure housing for the homeless and treat children with autism. One defendant, Mohammed Omar, is now behind bars after trying to flee authorities. He was wanted for more than $3 million in alleged Medicaid fraud. On the same day the charges were announced, the woman convicted as the kingpin in the massive Feeding Our Future scandal, Amy Bach, was sentenced to 41.5 years in prison. Bach was also ordered to pay restitution on $243 million the government says was scammed through that COVID-era food program.
That's Fox's Manuel Rivera reporting. Before the president hops on Air Force One for the short flight to the Empire State, he will hold a ceremony for the new point person at the central bank.
President Trump will host the swearing-in ceremony for the new Federal Reserve Chair, Kevin Warsh. It's the first time a Fed chair has been sworn in at the White House since Alan Greenspan nearly 40 years ago. Warsh, who previously served as a Federal Reserve Board governor and later worked with billionaire investor Stanley Druckenmiller, was confirmed by the Senate earlier this month after testifying at a confirmation hearing last month.
Monetary policy independence is essential. Monetary policy makers must act in the nation's interest.
The former chair, Jerome Powell, has said he will remain on the Board of Governors out of concern over a prior DOJ investigation into cost overruns in the Fed's building renovations. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
I'm CJ Papa, and this is Fox News.